Good evening, one and all. At the outset, I would like to thank Dr. Rohit Shetty, AIOS, and all the panelists for having me over here. Today, I'm going to be presenting some of the initial encouraging results of a journey which started almost 8 years ago, a concept brought about in LV Prasad. So essentially, a keratoprosthesis, when we talk about a keratoprosthesis, the most commonly used one is a type 1 K-Pro, which is useful for bilateral corneal blindness, ocular surface failure in wet eyes. But when we come to bone dry eyes, like Stevens-Johnson syndrome, ocular cicatricial pemphigoid, very severe thermal and chemical industrial accidents, in such cases, we cannot do a type 1 K-Pro. And the only existing options available are either a modified osteodontokeratoprosthesis, which is a very challenging and two-stage procedure, requires a great deal of technical skill and a prolonged procedure. The second option is the Boston type 2 keratoprosthesis, which is a elegant option, but unfortunately, the Boston type 2 is not widely available commercially for most corneal surgeons to use. So the essential idea is that we need to have a stable cover to protect the underlying K-Pro, and we could potentially use the patient's own pannus or fibrovascular tissue or a mucous membrane graft as a cover to do this. So I'll just present this quickly with the one particular video and then go on to share the subsequent results. So this is a patient with a toxic epidermonecrolysis 2 years post the primary episode. And you can see he has a thick pannus and you can hardly even notice where the globe is. So you start by trying to lift the entire dermalized pannus. The whole idea in lifting this pannus is to ensure that it is thick enough and you are lifting it off in its entirety and trying to maintain its vascularity. It's very, very important that we don't buttonhole this. If we buttonhole, there's a higher chance of melt. Subsequently, you try and remove and dissect the pannus, which is above the cornea. You really can't even make out in the initial stage where the possible potential cornea is. And that's why a layer by layer dissection is important for us to know where the cornea lies and where the pupil lies. Because unless your K-Pro is centered over the pupil, the entire result of the surgery is not going to be useful. So subsequent to that, you go ahead and do the regular surgery like a type 1 K-Pro. We do a lensectomy, leave the patient aphakic, leave the PC intact, and go ahead and implant the type 1 K-Pro. So in these patients where I'm doing it underneath the pannus, we are using a type 1 K-Pro because the pannus itself is not very thick. And the pannus has limited proliferative capacity and therefore does not keep growing over the K-Pro itself. So you can then suture over the pannus entirely and completely close the case and subsequently leave this for a period of 6 weeks. And once this is healed completely, you can then make the central opening. While making the central opening, it's extremely important that we are cautious that we don't open an excess area beyond the cylinder and expose the graft, and only the area of the front plate is opened up. And any excess opening can be sutured back and the pannus is allowed to seal, and that is the end of the procedure. Yeah. So this is the post-operative picture of the patient, and this patient has been maintaining, fortunately by God's grace, a 20/20 vision of almost 6 years. And we've extended this to numerous indications. This is an extensive thermal injury where the patient's own conjunctival pannus has been used as a flap to restore. Although this is a relatively more wet eye, the initial insult is so severe, but that there is not just a limbal epithelial deficiency, but there is also a conjunctival deficiency. And therefore, just doing a type 1 K-Pro is not very good in these patients. This is yet another patient where we had a bilateral thermal injury. And this patient also did very well using this. And this is a patient with a OCP with a thinner pannus. In these patients with a thinner pannus, you cannot use the pannus itself as a cover. So you need to implant a mucous membrane graft first. And once the mucous membrane graft has been made, you can raise the MMG. But in these cases, we are using what we call a LVP K-Pro, which has an elevated cylinder where the mucous membrane graft tucks underneath this. And as you can see in this postoperative picture, the cylinder is exposed and is at the level of the mucous membrane graft. So this has been extended to about 8 patients now. I've been using the type 1 K-Pro when I do the underneath the pannus in SJS, whereas in OCP, where you typically have a thinner pannus, you have to do a mucous membrane graft and then do the same procedure with a LVP type K-Pro. So the challenges are a mucosal overgrowth, Glaucoma is another challenge. It requires regular fundus examination. In 2 of these patients, we've had to implant a glaucoma drainage device under the mucosa. You have to watch out for retraction and graft exposure during the early postoperative period. To sum up, it's a viable option in bone dry eyes. It's easily available. It is low cost, and you could do it as a single or 2-stage procedure. It's technically an easier procedure than the other surgeries, and it is a smaller transition for corneal surgeons in such extreme scenarios. Thank you so much for your kind attention.
Thank you, Dr. Sriyash.